Hello. Oh, my hair is a mess. Hello, everyone. It's me, Coffee Stitcher, with the crazy hair. Hope everyone's doing okay on this Thursday. Um, I know I am. Um, so I'm hoping everyone's having a good week. Did everyone hear about Joan Elliott? For those who didn't hear, she was in a really terrible car accident. She's okay, or at least as okay as she can be. I think she had a couple of broken bones and a collapsed lung. So she's going to be out of commission for a little while, which is pretty scary. Um, so, yeah. Did anybody get anything finished this week? Hmm, fantastic. That's really good to hear. Um, I know you've been working hard on it. I actually have a finish this week. I've just been cranking them out left and right lately. It's a little bit weird. I don't quite understand. And then I get this weird depression after I'm done, like, well, it's done, and I have other things I could work on, but I'm bummed because this one's done now. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I have a finish to show. I have two whips to show. One I'm really, really happy to be able to show something on. Um, as well as a little bit of stash and other things. Um, the train thought just slipped. So I guess first I would like to give a little quick shout out, thank you to Julicious, Julia. She stitched this really cute, adorable little frappuccino for me. Isn't that adorable? I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet, but I absolutely love it. And she sent me a very lovely post-breakup care package that she said was a little bit late, but hey, now I'm out of the funk and I can enjoy it. So it's actually, I think, a little better to have gotten it now. That had some chocolate and some coffee and these absolutely adorable foxes. And it was a really, really sweet gift. So thank you, Julia, and I will figure out a really awesome thing to do with this. So my coworkers were all kind of jealous. They were like, I want a cross-stitched frappuccino. I was like, yeah, well, my friends love me, not you. What can I say? And then they all quit on me for being a jerk. So thank you. Thank you so much, Julia. Let's see. So the rest of the, so I'm pulling things out. The rest of the Stitchy Box stuff came literally not too long after I had done the video. I was like, well, that figures. So it included two Krennic Silk Moris, number 2033 and 1112. They are a red and a yellow. I've never used the Silk Mori before, so I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like. And then it also included one of Liz's very own Dragonfly Lotuses, which is Foxy, which is a very pretty red-brown color. Think about the color of Judy Garland's hair in Meet Me in St. Louis, and it's about what this actually is. Or at least the color I think it was supposed to be, but Technicolor was a little weird in those days sometimes, and I think is redder than I think what Vincent Minnelli meant for it to be. But, hey, it's still gorgeous, and it's a fabulous movie. It's her best movie, that's not The Wizard of Oz. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Just like, if you haven't already ordered something from Liz at Dragonfly Lotus, you need to be beaten with a stick because you're being silly. I got my Thread of the Month, and currently things are in a state of flux. I'll explain that in a little bit. Nothing bad. So I just have my sample card because I can't figure out what I did with the actual flosses. As always, there are two that she does in wool and in silk. This time it was Crimson Pines, which is these two here. They've got sort of reds and greens and blues and purples running through it. It's really, really pretty. I think it would be especially nice on some sort of Christmassy thing. And then there's Sunburst, which is similar, I think, to Sunlit, whereas this one's got more red to it, where I think Sunlit was mostly just purple and brown. And then Paprika, which is freaking gorgeous. I just want to roll around in skeins of this stuff. It's so pretty. And I forgot to wear my pearls to clutch my pearls when I said that. Dang it. Sorry, maniacs. But I have pearls that I was going to clutch. So this is the Paprika. It's a really pretty sort of ruby red with a little bit of pink to it. I'm a big fan. But I'm a big fan of basically everything Liz does, so I'm a little biased. Anyhow, so my grandmother is moving from a house into an apartment because she's decided it's time. So she came over last week, and she's been over a lot, and I had just had a rough day, and Dad was like, here, I'll give you money, go to Stitch, Knitch, and Hide. And I went, okay. So I bought some stuff. I got the remaining weeks that I needed for Scream House, which starts in a little under a week. There's Taffeta, which is a purpley black. Charcoal, which is a black-gray, as you might expect. There's Basil, which is a purple and sort of gray-green combination. Fire, which is bright red with some orange. And Molasses, which is dark brown with some darker brown. So there's those. I've got my project bag all ready for it. Probably here in the next couple of days I'm going to get everything ready so I can lay it all out. Then I bought... So we're going to kind of go backwards from what I originally intended. I picked up some fabric while I was there. This is my alternate for my chatelaine. I've got Key Lime coming from Dye Stitch Love as part of the fabric of the month, and then I bought this because I thought, you know, I don't want that to come, and then I do my floss toss and go, oh god, this is not going to work, and then have to scramble. So I got some Midnight Tryst, which is a darker blue, but with my upcoming new setup, I don't think it's going to be quite the problem that I was having earlier. It's also a lighter blue than the Clouds Factory, and I can actually see the holes from here, whereas with the one from Clouds Factory, I couldn't. And then I've got a little extra band for God knows what, something, at some point in my life. I will be like, oh, this is a big bird, and because I talk exactly like that. Then I picked up from Plum Street Samplers, because I really like Plum Street, one called Spring Delivery, which is a little horse and a bunny and a buggy with some flowers. And her stuff all uses, largely uses Classic Colorworks, and my LNS doesn't actually carry Classic Colorworks, and I don't really have any experience with Classic Colorworks, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably try and convert to General Arts, because it's got a DMC conversion, so I can convert, or I may just do it in DMC. We'll see. Then I discovered online a couple of days, a little bit before this, Elizabeth's Designs, and I forget how I got there, but I saw that she had all these really cool cottages that have that are mostly specialty stitches. So my LNS had Beekeeper's Cottage. So there's this one. And I think Angie, Amber, and I will be doing this together next year. I'm very excited. And then on eBay, I found for $1 with free shipping, Bluebird Cottage. And I thought I can spend $1 on a chart. And it's got even more, including, and it actually uses number 12 and number 8 pearl cottons. And I've never really used those, so I'm pretty excited about that. I am going to have to, I'm going to send out a little bit of a call. There's only one, everything else is basically DMC. However, it calls for 1 Needle Necessities Overdyed Floss. And somehow, in the very back recesses of my mind, I'm thinking that that company no longer exists. Because I've never heard of them. I'll say that. I've never heard of them. So, do they still exist? Does anybody know? If they don't, does anyone know what I would convert to? Yeah. So there you go. So there was that. And then, I'd forgotten I'd done this, but Michael Powell was having a sale a few weeks ago, and I bought a chart pack for the garden sampler, because my parents are both really big into gardening. So here it is. It's not quite as full coverage as it looks, but it is mostly full coverage. The interesting thing about it is it arrives and you get a regular chart. So you've got your chart. Then you get your floss key. And it's got French knots and backstitch and full stitches and some tweeting, which is always fun. And you don't use a full skein of anything, it looks like. Oh no, you use a full skein of black for French knots. That is a ton of French knots that I'm not really seeing in there. And then you get one that's got all the back stitching. So you get a second chart that has the back stitching more predominant on it. So it's pretty cool. I know Bothy Threads does that. Bothy? One of the two. So this is the first time I've ever had a chart that came like that, and I think I like it. I kind of wish more people would do it that way. So there was that. Thus endeth the charts. Then I needed to go into, well, I've got one, but I haven't printed it off yet. Then I had to go into Hobby Lobby because I needed one skein of a color for Paradise Lost, and somehow didn't have it in my stash. I don't know how, but I somehow didn't. And while I was there, I'm doing for Mom's birthday, I'm doing an embroidery of a bird and some flowers. And I needed tracing paper and pencils, so I bought that. I bought my skein of floss. And then I discovered in their clearance section, because I always look in the clearance section, they had Mill Hill beads for clearance for 57 cents a package. So I bought out the colors they had in Petite for Once Upon a Time. Or Watsits, I guess I should say. So I got some clear white ones. I got your standard black. I got some rose gold. And I got some purple. So, yeah. So there was all of that. Then finally, Mom needed to go to Michael's for something, and I was nosing around, and all the stuff that's going on with my grandmother, I'm going to be getting a chair and a thread cabinet and several other really nice things. So this bed that I'm currently sitting on is going the way of the dinosaur. So I'm actually going to have a legitimate stitchy spot. And we were in I'd wandered over, like I usually do, to my cross-stitch section, and I was looking at Lights, and they had this one on clearance for about 25 bucks. That's got, like, a little caddy of stuff, so I can put my scissors and things like that into it. Which is pretty exciting. And it's not light. It uses their usual bulb. And it was on clearance, so my parents got it for me as a, hey, you're going to have a stitchy spot section. So between that and my other light, which is coming back from my grandmother's, since I won't need it there anymore, I'm actually going to have, I think, a pretty good setup, which will hopefully also help with the chatelaine. So there we go. So that is the new stuff. I've got one FFO that I will not be showing you today. I'll possibly also have two more by Sunday if I can get things going the way I want to get them going. The reason being, my 1-year stitching anniversary is on Sunday, excuse me, the 28th. And that was the date, according to my Facebook post, that I completed my very first cross-stitch project. So, I will be doing a sort of year-in-review recap detox session. And in that, the ones that I'm going to be finishing, because they've all been done in the last year, I'm going to show off all my last year's finishes. I'll show you then, because I just feel really silly going, hey, look, I finished this, and then, hey, look, here it is again, 3 days later. So, ooh. And mainly the reason I'm getting some FFOs now, sad as this is my grandmother is getting rid of a lot of picture frames, and I went, yoink. So I got a whole slew of picture frames for free. And there was one I really wanted that would have been absolutely perfect for, since Raven Queen is now Regina, for my original Regina. It would have been absolutely perfect, but there was no way to get the picture out of it without destroying everything involved. So, what do you do? Anyhow, I'll show you the 2 whips, and then I'll show you my finish. This week, I worked on Alice in Wonderland a little bit. I got the grass done, and then I kind of got bored. So, I've discovered that on my days off, I really frequently am just too tired to do a lot of stitching. So, I didn't do much on her. But I will. I will. And then I picked up Paradise Lost. And look how much I got done just yesterday. When I started, there was only this branch and these 3 pairs, and then this part here. So I did the rest of the branch that you see, and most of the pairs. I'm almost done with my pairs. And then I can start in on the leaves. And I'm super excited. And yes, that is an Ursula. There's a lot of needle minders on here. I decided I wanted to use my Ursula needle minder because she sort of seemed weirdly biblical. I don't know what that says about me. Piglet was the original one on there, so he just sort of chilled out. And then Pooh randomly tagged along, so I'm using him to help me park things. So there's that. And now for my finish. And I'm going to try not to get sappy here. This was, in some ways, it was a little bit of an infuriating project, and I'll get to that in a second, and I've kind of talked about it already, in my last video, but only with little minor stuff. Otherwise, this was, I think, the easiest project I've ever had that just came together and worked. And that's pretty awesome. It's Scary Circle, Glendon Place. Not Glendon Place, excuse me, Cross-Eyed Cricket. I keep thinking it's a Glendon Place. I don't really know why. As you know, it was, so, way back when I first started stitching and I found out about 123 Stitch, I created a wish list. And one of the first items I put on it was this chart. And then I forgot about it. Flash forward to my birthday, and my fabulous friend Kimmy bought me the chart. And I fell absolutely stinking in love with it. And then I was looking at my, then I got my Halloween, I had my Halloween stitchy box, and I was looking at the fabric for it, and I thought, you know what? This fabric would be perfect for it. So there was the fabric. I went through my stash. With the exception of 2 colors in DMC, I had every DMC I needed. And both of them were like in that 9, 17, 18, 19, 20 range where there's several fairly close together colors and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So I just grabbed those. Like, I needed 470 and I used, or 471 and I used 470 instead. Because they're so close, it didn't really matter. Because it wasn't like a shading thing. Angie gave me a gift card to 123 Stitch, so that took care of my Krynic. Except for one, which I just forgot to order. And then I had to buy a Gentle Arts for it. But basically, everything else I already had. And I had some false starts. I had some, for whatever reason, I just could not get 310 in the bag. Finally, I did. But everything just fell in place. And was a total breeze to work on and do. And I got the floss from Gabe for it, which, Gabe, I miss you, buddy. And it just all came together, and here it is finished. Glow-in-the-dark blending filament, not my friend, but that's okay. But everything just worked and clicked, and it was just an absolute dream to work on. And that kind of sums up, to a degree, my first year of stitching. A little bit of frustration, but an absolute dream to work on. And I've had a blast, and I've met some really fantastic people. And more on that will be in the next video. So, anyhow, and you'll be seeing this again on Sunday, but I wanted to go and show it off. However, I did make a little bit of a change with the vampire, because I decided the vampire looked like Liza Minnelli, and I still think it does. So I gave her sparkly shoes, and then I outlined the cape in purple Kreinik versus doing it with all Kreinik. So, there you go. Vampire Liza Minnelli. So there you have it. I've got to finish, I've got some new stuff, and I've got a crap ton to clean. So anyhow, I hope everyone's doing well. If I didn't do a call out about it, which I did, then hey, you're hearing it twice. My LNS somehow did not get the second cereal bowl kit from Plum Street. The one where you have to bring your own fabric. Stitching Bits and Bobs has it. I've never ordered from them. I know Mackenzie's ordered from them a lot, but what's everyone's kind of general feeling on them? Because 123 Stitch doesn't have it, and the other LNSs in my area seem to have sold out of it. And I'd really like it since I've started the series. So if anyone knows, I would be very grateful. If not, then I guess I'll just probably take a chance. Or if someone out there finds it at their LNS, I would be happy to pay you back for it. So, yeah. Anyhow, I guess that's everything. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see y'all soon.